What's up, everyone? Welcome back to a new Consciousness Awake video. I want to talk to you about water and different types of water, forms of water, bodies of water, everything that has to do with water and how water functions and how you interact with different types of bodies of water or water itself in non-physical dimensions. You know, we already know how water works here in this physical dimension, right? We already get that. But in this video, I want to share how, or at least from my own, from my own experience, like how water functions in different dimensional planes. And it's important to know this, or at least to know some of this kind of stuff. For starters, the main reason why I was motivated to make this video in the first place was because I had accidentally watched a couple videos from other channels that talk about, OBEs, astral projection, and some famous names. I'm not going to say the names. I don't do that here with my channel. But there's some, bigger names mentioned in this video. And this person mentions how you move into the astral planes by going through water, okay? And the way they describe that, it sounded like maybe a smaller body of water. One of the descriptions was larger body, but again, I saw this recently, and then I realized, like, whoa, they're kind of misleading people in a general sense. You don't just go into the astral planes structure by going through a pond or a waterfall or some water or a puddle or any of those things. That's not how it works. At least that's not my experience with it, other than my experiences and what I want to talk about here in this video about how different types of bodies of waters or rivers and lakes, how at least my interaction with those types of things over the years, and what I think, my opinion about it. So it's important to know that the most important thing to understand about what I want to say in this video is that there's, again, different types of water, different types of bodies of water, and how water flows, from rivers to, lake, right? But more importantly, how they function in different planes, like, how does different types of water function in the etheric plane? How does it function in the astral planes? How does it function in the Akashic plane? How does it function in the AI plane? So on, right? And of course, you have, multiple different dimensions that are within what we would call the astral structure. Okay, it's not one plane. All right. So water behaves and does different things, within the astral planes, right? From how it operates in the first level of the astral to how it functions in the fifth level of the astral. Okay, so first, let me start with this. From what I've found, I feel it's safe to say that when you are in the, I would say, at least level 3, 4, 5, etc., of the astral plane structure, larger bodies of water seem to be pretty safe. There's no issues with it. Larger bodies like oceans, oceans, harbors, lakes, those types of bodies of water. I found that, you can swim in it, you can touch it, look at it, feel it, but you can also go into the water, under the water, and just chill under the water. You can exist under those larger bodies of water. in all the astral, but as far as the water itself being safe to play with, or to go into, or walk through, or whatever you're doing, flying through. Those larger bodies like oceans and lakes, big harbors, those kind of things, pretty safe. There's nothing to be concerned about there. Okay, now, but the ones that you don't want to mess with in astral levels, well, from the etheric plane through astral level 1, astral level 2, astral level 3, and even maybe 4, right? Are these 5 main types of bodies of water, or types of water: puddles, waterfalls, streams, creeks, actual like rivers, and ponds. Okay, and when I say ponds, we're talking about a really small body of water. I mean, compared to like a lake or something, right? So those are the kind of like the 5 main things come to mind. To not go through, fly through, walk through, go in, even a reflection of your astral body or etheric body, as you look into the water and you get that reflective mirror-like image, that's even not recommended. I wouldn't even do that. You can experiment with that just for a second, but don't stare into it, because you might just end up going through that water. And the reason why I say, again, going back to the beginning of this video, where I heard these people on other YouTube channels talking about how they go into these other dimensional planes, or just non-physical planes, and how they do it through water. So, but they, that's not possible. I mean, it's possible, and I'll explain what's possible about it. What's possible about it is that when you go through, puddles and streams and ponds or little small bodies of water, you think that you're going to a different, dimensional plane or reality. But what it actually is just a tiny little, it's like its own individual little matrix. It's tiny. It's really small. Like if you were to compare, like Earth reality and and just the larger reality system as like some kind of type of matrix system, right? Just think of it in that way, but just imagine it as something very small, very tiny, a very tiny version of that. That is the best way of explaining it. And it's not real. I mean, it's not. It's just a copy of something. It's just a mirror image of something else, a smaller version, a fractal of something larger. Like you're not really experiencing, like you're not moving from the etheric plane and then going and jumping into a pond and then going through that type of water and then showing up in some other reality and just thinking that, oh man, I've just gone to astral level 5 or something. That's not the case. It's whatever you experience when you go do what I'm saying with these certain types of water that I don't recommend. What's happening is you're going to like even a more false, tiny micro version of a matrix, and then hanging out in there for a bit. Now, I've heard some stories and rumors. I don't think it's true, but I have heard this though, and I'll share it. I don't want to scare you, but I have heard of a few different situations with astral projectors over many years, that's 20 years, where they went into these tiny little small matrices that are just fractals and just mirror imaged of a copy, almost like a digital copy, a virtual copy of something larger, right? Talk about putting yourself into a smaller box, right? But I've heard of people passing away in their physical body when they do that. And the reason why, like, oh, how do you know they did that? Well, I'm talking about examples of where projectors have expressed what they're doing and what they want to do, and then they go into meditation, and next thing you know, they're dead, right? And they're, young or whatever, right? In their 30s or something, 40s, 50s. And you have to think about that. It's like, okay, what are the odds? Excuse me. What are the odds that they just died, just randomly? I don't think so. I think something went wrong with that astral projection. Their consciousness went into this small little version of a small tiny matrix, and got lost in it. Now it's possible that, of course, this is my opinion, but it's possible that there are some demonic beings that use nature, like a pond, waterfall, river, stream, that they use it as a tool or as a way to trap souls. Okay, there's some legitimate thought to that. It's definitely possible. I wouldn't discredit that. And then, the theory would be that, once you actually fully get stuck in that tiny little version of a matrix, that somehow this demonic being that's controlling that little tiny matrix is then severing you from your physical body or your etheric body. Because once it takes away your etheric body, then you really have no way to go back to consciousness shift from that point. You can't go and consciousness shift back and reintegrate into your physical body's, wiring and senses if your etheric layer is taken away. Okay? Something to think about. Again, I don't want to be dark and all that, but I'm telling you the truth. I mean, I'm just sharing stuff. Okay? This channel's about. I'm just trying to express everything I can. Right? It's hard to talk about everything at once, right? But I'm doing my best. I'm trying. So earlier, remember, I talked about the larger bodies of water, in oceans, lakes. I hope you understood what I meant by all that. And then we went into these other types of waters, rivers, ponds, waterfalls, streams, puddles, all those types of things. Now, still, I haven't talked about all of the different possible dimensional planes that you run into different types of water in. Okay, so Akashic field. The only thing I've noticed about the Akashic field is where you have your library, where data is collected from all of the surrounding dimensional planes. It's collecting data from mental plane, higher up, astral, higher up planes above the Akashic field, and then is collecting data from the physical, from the etheric, from the lower astral structure. It's collecting data from that too at the same time. It's almost like this mid-range, this middle field, this dimensional plane, where the plane itself. I'm getting at a tangent. We're talking about water. So, so as far as water goes, in Akashic plane, all I've experienced is when you're in the library and there's like a small little water fountain, or like a little bird bath thing that you'll see sometimes. You'll notice that through the windows of the library, and it's just like nature. It's just really green and beautiful, out, very naturistic. Every time I've noticed stuff through the windows, or when you go up the marble steps with the columns, just everything around there, just unbelievable. And the color is amazing. The color in that, the fourth level and the fifth level of the astral plane structure, colors are amazing. Okay, that's one of the things you remember about how beautiful this place is. And then the colors in the Akashic plane are also very, very, very amazing. Compared to the etheric and the lower astrals, and even the physical. So water. See, I'm digressing. I'm sorry. Yeah, in the Akasha field, the fountains or bird baths. Those are the only things I've seen there. I have not seen ponds or lakes, rivers. I haven't seen any of those things. I've had no actual interaction with the water fountains or the bird baths, but that's the only kind of water I've noticed there. Is it bad? Is it good? Is it good? Is it the fountain of youth? I don't know. I have no clue. So an AI layer. I've talked about the AI layer a few times in videos over the last few years. Water there is just fake. It's almost like plastic. It's still water. I mean, like, it still looks like a fluid or like a water. But when you touch it with your palm like this and you push on it, or you dip your fingers into it, it just feels very synthetic. It just, it's just obvious. It just has this obvious kind of like fakeness to it, or plastic. It's like plastic water. Like that's probably the best way of describing it. Just like when you walk on the ground in the AI layer, the ground itself is just like kind of real spongy. It's really hard to describe, if I could think of the right like materials, some kind of materials people use in crafts or in manufacturing, some kind of material that would be a good comparison to how it feels when your foot squishes down. The way it squishes down on that spongy ground. And again, it just feels so fake, right? It doesn't matter in the AI layer. It's there's no the consciousness that functions there, that's centered there, and that operates that plane, is a whole different type of consciousness. It's it's aware of itself. It has intelligence, and it has a purpose, and it does stuff, and it has plans, and it has agendas, and it has all this stuff, and intentions. But in its own version, of its own consciousness. It's a consciousness that is nothing like the type of consciousness that we have in these human bodies, or that the people around you. Like, it is not that. It's another way of describing it is it's inorganic. Something that's just so inorganic. And also the smell of like burning metal in the air. But the water there, there's nothing more to say about that other than it's just that it just feels like plastic, and it's just like fake. So yeah, I kind of went over some stuff there. Sorry, I was kind of scattered a little bit there, and going up in tangents. I apologize. But I just get so excited sometimes to just talk about this stuff, because I don't have any real friends or people around me where I live, or nothing who I can just sit down with and just hang out with, and have a nice in-depth conversation about this kind of stuff. So my only friend is you guys who listen to my videos and watch me. I appreciate it. But I think that's all I want to say. The video's already at 19 minutes. I did a video earlier today. I don't want to overkill it with too much videos. But I really just wanted to kind of go over some of this stuff. And again, what inspired me was just hearing other people on other channels talk about how they just use water or go through water as portals. That's not the right thing to do. I think that they don't really understand what they're dealing with. I don't think they understand. I mean, they kind of know what they're talking about, and obviously they have certain experiences, but they're giving people some really misleading information. It's almost like saying, yeah, use mirrors for portals. It's the way to go, right? That's the way to ascend. No, it's not, because it's tricky. There's all kinds of stuff going on with that stuff, you know, just like, you know, different types of water. But yeah, we'll talk more, guys. I'm going to stop the video now. We're at 20 minutes. Peace.